Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story that is an absolute masterclass in psychological dread. We're not just going to talk about what happens, okay? We're going to break down exactly how the author uses these tiny, unsettling details to make you feel that same creeping fear right alongside the narrator. So let's get into it. Okay, right out of the gate, the story doesn't open with a monster or a jump scare. It opens with a confession. This first sentence, it creates this immediate kind of intimate vibe. It's telling us this isn't just some made-up tale. This is a traumatic memory that literally still has a physical hold on the person telling it. You can't help but lean in. You know, every great horror story has to start with a baseline of normal. Before you can feel real terror, you have to feel safe. So the author here, they very carefully paint a picture of a perfectly ordinary, quiet night. A night that's just seconds away from being completely shattered. I mean, think about these details for a second. A small, isolated town. Thick snow that eats sound, making everything eerily quiet. And what's our narrator doing? The most normal thing in the world, just scrolling on his phone. This isn't just setting a scene. It's building this fragile little bubble of safety. And that makes the pop, when it comes, so much more violent. And here it is. This is the first little crack in that bubble. Before the narrator even sees the thing, he notices what he doesn't hear. No crunch of a car on the gravel driveway. It's a tiny, logical inconsistency that puts his brain and, our brains on high alert. Something is already off. So look at how each of these details just keeps ratcheting up the weirdness. A guy with no coat in a blizzard? Yeah, that's unsettling. But it's that last one. That's the real gut punch. He isn't smiling at the door. He is smiling directly at the peephole. That is such a violation of social norms. It basically screams one thing. I see you, and I know you're right there watching me. All right, so let's track how this escalates, because now that the unease is there, the story starts layering in details that aren't just strange, they're logically impossible. And this is a very deliberate choice to start breaking down the narrator's whole sense of reality. So what do we do when we feel unsafe in the 21st century? A lot of us, we turn to technology, right? Our phones, our cameras. The narrator reaches for his security camera, a tool that's supposed to give him clarity, give him safety. But in this story, technology offers zero comfort. It just makes the mystery and the dread so much deeper. And here you go. This is that breakdown of reality in action. The camera feed is frozen, stamped with a time from 29 minutes ago. This isn't just a tech glitch in the story. It's a direct attack on the narrator's perception of time itself. I mean, if you can't trust the clock, what can you trust? The very foundation of his world is starting to crack. This line is just, it's so chilling. The narrator makes a totally logical threat, right? I'm calling the cops. But the visitor's response is impossible. It implies he knows things the narrator hasn't even done yet. The threat is no longer just a guy on the porch. It's something that bends the rules of time. And this is the pivot. The story shifts gears right here. It moves away from these external, weird, time-bending things to something deeply, deeply personal and invasive. The threat is about to get a whole lot more intimate. It's going right for the narrator's sense of self. So this rhythm, this is the whole thing. It's not just any knock. It's a subconscious habit, a little piece of the narrator's own personal code that he probably wasn't even aware of. And for this stranger to perform it perfectly, that's a profound violation. It says, I know you better than you know yourself. Now, just when you think maybe the narrator's losing it, maybe this is all a dream or a hallucination, an outside source comes into the story. And this is where the terror gets locked in, because someone else confirms the impossible. They validate his entire terrifying experience. This detail is terrifying for two big reasons. First, it confirms the man at the door is real. He was there. Second, it shows he's actively spreading a story to undermine the narrator. He's not just some random phantom, he's an enemy with a plan, and that plan is to make everyone think the narrator is unreliable. And there it is. The neighbor checks their phone, and it confirms the exact time the knock happened. This one single piece of hard data just destroys any chance this was a dream or a memory slip. The timeline is real, the man is real, and the threat is absolutely real. So now we get to the climax of the story. All the weird details, the impossible knowledge, the psychological games. It was all building to this exact moment. The visitor's true, terrifying purpose is finally revealed. And not with a weapon, but with a few calm, chilling statements. And just listen to how he does this, the progression of it. He starts by attacking the narrator's physical space, his sanctuary. Then he escalates. He goes straight for an assault on his identity. And finally, he makes it intensely personal, invading the most private part of his life. It's a systematic demolition of the narrator's entire existence, piece by horrifying piece. And this last line, wow, this is what flips the entire story on its head. The visitor isn't a random monster or a burglar anymore. In his own mind, he's the good guy. He's the victim here, just trying to get back what was stolen. And somehow, that makes him 1,000,000 times more terrifying. So eventually, the immediate threat is over. The man leaves. But the story's real horror isn't about what happened that night at the door. No way. It's about the psychological echo that event leaves behind, a fear you can't just run away from. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? The narrator escapes the house, sure, but he can never escape that seed of doubt the visitor planted in his mind. The real prison isn't the house. It's the uncertainty about his own identity, his own memories, his own reality. And this final quote just perfectly captures that core fear. It shows the lasting damage. The visitor stole more than just a sense of security. He stole a tiny, unconscious piece of who the narrator is, that personal knock. And now, the narrator is a stranger to himself. So in the end, the story leaves us with this really haunting question. It stops being about the man at the door. It turns that central theme of identity and memory and doubt right back on us, the audience. And it makes you wonder, in the quiet moments of your own life, how sure are you about the reality you take for granted?